Alright. Sorry, that probably blew out a lot of people's headphones. But we have a new chapter of Attack on Titan, and I'm just that excited. The last one, a heartbreaking chapter of three sets of brothers, tragedy befalling each of them. And in the last moment, in one of the crazier things that could still remain to happen, Eren's head got completely blown the F off. Is Eren dead? I kind of doubt it, but at the same time, there's not much left of the series. And I feel like if there was ever a time to actually kill off your protagonists, it would be around now, when it feels like every other card has been played, when he's seconds away from unleashing the mysterious scheme that him and Zeke have been cooking up this entire time, or that perhaps Eren alone only knows the full extent of. A final betrayal, perhaps still in the cards. His head just spinning off after Gabi took that decisive shot. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. And here we see they made the cover. Another cover page that does not at all accurately represent the interior, even slightly. Ooh, Flying Witch. I love Flying Witch. Flying Witch made the cover too. They're all posing in front of a smartphone selfie. Where do I even begin talking about what's wrong with this? Alright, a flashback. Whenever they start using the flashback with these sort of tilted, cascading panels, like the memories are just sort of trickling and tumbling through your mind totally involuntarily. I like it. I like it. Just as this ball, the baseball, falls too from panel to panel. Nice, nice, nice. Eren, we must save them all. Dropped it. But he must be getting weak from staying in the hospital for too long. Okay. The brothers looking at each other. Instant is what this one is called. And here we see the interior city, fires everywhere, a beautiful shot of these birds flying overhead, their feathers dropping. I'm not quite sure when this is supposed to be. I assume it's still a flashback, given the use of black surrounding the panel. Yes, this is... No, this must be, you know, the earlier in the same battle. This is after Zeke, so this isn't really a flashback. I think it's something that's sort of transcending the flashback common current time dichotomy. In that we're just sort of seeing a cascade of memories and associations and sensory input. So this is after Zeke did the yell, right? Everyone Titanified, rampaging through the city. Here's the family from out in the woods that took in Gabi and Falco. Our Scouting Legion protagonists squaring off against the Cart Titan. So yeah, like all of this is happening. Just this amazing paneling. Rhombuses. Rhombuses and trapezoids. So underutilized as manga panel shapes. Just falling through space. Falling through this kind of void of memory. And here's Falco and Reiner in the aftermath of their battle. Reiner, after being taken down who knows how many dozens of times now, pushed to the brink of death, having to use literally his plot armor again and again to survive. That is the armor given to him by the plot, but a very literal armor. Connie and Jean flying overhead. It's all happening. So I guess, yeah, this is the instant. I was thrown off by the first page, the first couple pages, showing the flashback between Eren and Zeke. But now it seems like we're seeing the single instant where Eren's head is shot the F off from as many different perspectives as we have. and Zeke catches the head. Now, the actual physiological logistics of how contact between these brothers works, how the original Titan and a Titan of royal blood and all of this interacting works, has never really been explained. I'm not really sure. So it could be if Eren's head still has brain activity happening, this is good enough. This is the actual fated point of contact. Eren, of course, very, very rapidly dying. But, you know, I've read things talking about the amount of time that the brain continues working in the case of the beheading. Is the famous incident during the French Revolution where one of the executed nobles, in the interest of science, said, okay, once my head is off, I'm going to blink for as long as I can. You pay attention to how long I blink. And I don't remember what actually happened with that. I just remember that's like a thing. And I'm pretty sure he blinked for a while. But that's some homework. You can look that up yourself. Let's see what this means. What actually happens now that Zeke has caught the head? I love this paneling though, I gotta say. It's like so bold. The way it really just kind of seems like flashes, you know? This is happening. This is happening. I love this one especially. Showing Gabi from two perspectives, both like drastically backgrounded and drastically foregrounded. That contrast is so nice. All right, the way Zeke is desperately grabbing the head makes me think he thinks this is going to count as contact. All right, and here we see a blizzard of memories. Fantastic paneling, a fantastic spread from so many people's perspectives. Let's try to break this down a little bit because we've got things that I think, I don't know if we can really break this down in any sufficiency, but some of these I'm pretty sure are Zeke's memories. Like here's a young Bernthold having a hand put on his shoulder being discussed. Here I believe in the far right is Eren's father being kicked off the wall and left for dead, way, way back when he rebelled against the Eldian Empire. I mean, the Marleyan Empire. Oh my god, how many times am I going to mix that up? As soon as I say it, I know it's wrong. We got shots of Annie out in the wilderness, presumably with Bernthold and Reiner. So some of these are like those sets of memories. Some of these are Eren's memories. His father horrified, the key to the basement. Those must be Eren's. Who is this in the top left? I can't even tell. Wow. A powerful page. But what do we make of it? Like, what... Is this now the fusion of Zeke and Eren's memories after making contact? Is that, like, a thing that's gonna happen? Okay. So it's Berserk time. It's like when when Griffith rode in on that demon guy whose name I forgot, Zod, yeah, I think, and stabbed the tree. Remember? This kind of thing happened, and he was able to just freely rewrite the world's rules, blending fantasy and reality. Basically, Eren, I think, has a similar level of godlike power right now. Standing in some vague Evangelion space, looking up at a similarly explosive tree of light. This is where things like time loop theories and things breaking through chronological sequencing and causality start to feel a lot more feasible now that we're in this sort of metaphysical space. What's going on? What is actually going on? I cannot tell you. No one could tell you right now. What is this place? Exactly. This place is where all the paths meet. A chained man. It looks kind of like Zeke. sits behind him and says this. I assume all from the royal family who inherited the original Titan's power come here, and they use its power. I'm waiting for a long time, Eren, for you to recover and finally awaken. Feels like I've been sitting here for years. Okay, so... No, you know what? No, let's just keep reading. I don't know what the heck is going on. This has like I kind of like though when series go this far because it unlocks like a whole other sort of category of meaning, a whole other sort of dimension where things start getting into these like really abstract, like for him to say brother at this time. It's not literally just that Zeke is his brother, right? Of course it is that as well, and it carries all of that weight and all of that sort of plot. But it also seems to have like a more abstract, you know, of all brothers, of just the concept of brotherhood. It seems to be speaking to that sort of kind of like biblical understanding, for lack of a better word, a sort of mythical of association in this setting, in this place of infinite sands and people chained to the ground and gigantic trees of light. Everything starts taking on that sort of duality, which I find very exciting. It's been years. Don't really know. Everything seems to be going by in a flash in this place. Your head was shot clean off by Gabi. But right before you completely expired, we were able to come in contact with each other. We did it. We've obtained the power of the original Titan. So this is what the original Titan space is like. This is where you get to rewrite the rules of the Eldian people, right? That's where the royal family, the King Fritz, and all of that were able to manipulate everyone's memories and set up these like kind of cultural understandings of the past and yeah, things like that. Okay. Don't worry, there's someone here. Don't worry, that's Ymir? My guess is that it's Ymir, the original OG Titan from way, way, way back in the day. The source of all of this. And that really, this is, like, all it really needs is the power of the original Titan, right? Because the original Titan has this level of control and creation over the Eldian people. Then all you really need is Ymir being here in this place and laying it all out, the system of Titanhood. Right? You see what I'm saying? So I think it would only make sense to encounter Ymir here. Yes, yeah. The founder, Ymir. Alright. This is a long, long time coming. How do you know it's her? Who else would be roaming around a place like this besides her? Of course! I was here once before, and she repaired my injured body with this very soil. She brought me back to life. Founder, I think she makes Titans in this place. Every time we use the Titan's powers, she makes them here where time is everlasting. Okay, yeah, so this is really it. This is the locus of all supernatural happenings in the universe of Attack on Titan. Which I like. I like in the end, even though it's still extremely complicated and complex, that things can kind of be consolidated into this one place of just kind of infinite rule breaking, right? That if you allow this timeless place connected to all space and time, where Ymir, apparently just this young girl, can basically reach into the real world and titanify people with her own hands. You don't really need to explain anything else. This kind of covers it all, right? All this time here by herself. And give the founder the order. It's time to make our dream a reality. Okay. Okay, so final bets. Does Eren have yet another plan up his sleeve? Is he actually down with Zeke's anti-natalistic plan of neutering all the Eldians and just wiping out the curse of Titans from the world? I think so. I think so. Okay, so what is it? He's all about freedom, right? This has been the big constant of his character, is that he simply wants to live in a way that's free to himself. He also hates Titans. He definitely was down to destroy all Titans for quite a while. I feel like we're heading to kind of a Madoka-esque conclusion, where this process of the wish being to eliminate the Eldian bloodline or to live in isolation or anything like that is just a compromise on some gigantic meta wish of, I want to change the rules. I want to just rewrite history from the bottom up. And then, perhaps in a Madoka-esque fashion, Eren will have to make some huge sacrifice to change the rules to this extent. I'm sorry, this is kind of spoilers for Madoka. I assume everyone's just watched Madoka. It's not such spoilers that you shouldn't watch the series, of course. Anyways, okay. So I'm thinking, yeah, he's gonna end up sacrificing his freedom. He's going to have to, like, stay here in the realm of the original Titan. Time will restart once again, but Eren will now have to devote himself, as Ymir is doing, not to reaching down and titanizing people, but reaching down and doing something else instead. This is my guess, okay? Because this is the key line here, when he goes, all this time here by herself. To me, this demonstrates some sort of empathy on his part that's going to have some sort of payoff, I'm guessing. That he's so obsessed with this idea of freedom. It means so much to him to be able to live freely and as he pleases, that he's going to be so empathetic towards Ymir, who is trapped here, that he's willing to even sacrifice that freedom. This is my guess. This is my guess. Okay. Anyways, so what's up with Zeke's chains? Maybe I should have learned about this before I tried to make all of my guesses, but whatever. These chains prevent me from acting freely. In other words, they are the oath to renounce war. Okay, alright. So this is one of the passed down rules of the royal family using the original Titan's power in the past. As expected, you're the only one who can move in this space freely. The only one who can command Ymir. My dream, Mr. Xavier's dream, your dream. Please save the world, Eren. So Eren, I guess, maybe up until this point, wasn't quite sure how it was going to shake out once they're actually using the original Titan's power. Like, it seems like he's kind of reconsidering things here now that he knows that Zeke is actually powerless, that he's the one that gets to call all these shots. Please tell the Founder to change the bodies of the Eldians, so from here on out they'll be forever incapable of having children. Activate the world-flattening weapon and destroy the allied armors after that. He's like, come on, you can have your fun. I'm gonna be shocked. I made this prediction before, that at some point the world-flattening weapon is going to be unleashed, simply because it had been hyped up so many times. We know there's Titans in the walls, we've seen the face, you know, that if it didn't actually come to pass, people are going to be too disappointed, right? But now I'm because, like, why would Eren do it at this point? Like, why would Eren? It seems very contrary to all of my other expectations of him at this point, right? I don't know. I still want to see it though. I count myself in that camp that would be disappointed if we didn't see all the Titans pop up out of the walls and start knocking stuff down, right? That's why we read Attack on Titan, to see big old boys kicking the crap out of buildings and stuff. Anyways, okay. To pass a merciful killing to all Eldians. I could never cooperate with a plan as ridiculous as that. Sorry, brother. Alright. Okay, alright, okay. That's kind of what I figured. And that is, of course, the read that Armin made and that all of his other friends made when they decided to back him and cooperate with Yelena just to get Eren to this space, just to allow Eren to use the original Titan as he sees fit. So, what is he actually going to do now that he's here? Zeke breaks down into tears, of course. He's been thoroughly betrayed. As long as Eldians continue to exist, this hell will never end. You have to do it right here and now, or killings like the one we just saw will never end. Process we've been repeating will just go on and on. Why, Eren? Answer me. So what is his actual plan? I don't know. I don't know. I already gave my best guess. What I'm thinking, though, is that in the end, even Zeke will be satisfied, you know? I think it would be too much for Eren to be like, instead of your plan, I'm doing this plan, and Zeke to go, hey, I still prefer my plan. I think it's going to be something that when Zeke hears it, when Zeke considers the actual ramifications of it, he's going to be like, oh, I didn't think of that. More? I don't know. Because I was born into this world. Founder Ymir, please lend me your power. Because I was born into this world. So I guess he's saying I can't be down for this anti-natalistic plan because had this philosophy been employed before, if this had been the solution of our father's generation or our father's father generation, then I would have never been born into this world, right? An egoistic refutation to antinatalism, which, of course, we can get into much, much larger, deeper philosophical arguments based on antinatalistic thought. You know, who deserves to live? What does it really mean to never be born? Is that something you can really regret or anguish over? Anyways, whatever. We'll just accept this is Eren's line of thinking, I guess. This is a cool shot. I think this is well done, that like we start with Eren fully framed, his face head on, and then kind of as these panels progress, he's like more and more turning away, his face kind of more distanced and isolated and stuff, until this final shot, which is just fully of his back. And then finally we rotate around to his request. It's very cinematic, this whole thing. And it's so far outside of everything else that's happened in the series. Ooh, wait a minute. Ymir just walks right past him. I knew it, Eren. I wanted to believe so hard that you of all people would understand. Did Eren get tricked? Did he just make up the thing with the chains? He's just gonna stand up now and pop the collar off and be like, alright, come on over here, Ymir. I knew it. I knew we could trick him into exposing himself as a traitor. Sure good thing I didn't actually give him the power yet. Something like that? I don't know. Is this also the result of her father's brainwashing? So Ymir falls onto her knees. What is the meaning of this? Again, just this kind of, and I know there must be some better word for it, but it feels very biblical, you know? That when you think of these sort of biblical stories of the mystical people at the seat of the lore of Christianity, it's always played out in these very symbolically charged spaces, you know? Zeke strapped to the ground with chains, the founder dropping to her knees in front of him. It all feels so laden, not with like meaningful symbolism, but with just this sort of symbolic potential, if you know what I mean. It's cool, it's cool. It's Evangelion-esque in that regard. Managed to learn a great many things in the long time it took you to wake up, such as the founder can create anything in here, even chains made of earth. Ah, that was right! He was just bluffing! He's just gonna stand up and pop his collar. Oh my god! Is this One Piece? We just breaking collars around here? She's asked by someone with royal blood like me. Okay. So, Zeke allowed Eren to massively put his foot in his own mouth and reveal his intent to betray when he really didn't even have the power all along. Unlike the Wall Kings of old, I came here untainted by the First King's ideals. In the countless hours I've spent here together with the founder, I've managed to render the oath to renounce war powerless. Okay. So he wasn't lying when he said there was such a thing. It's just that it wasn't symbolically represented by chains. That was just to throw Eren off. And he's not actually bound by its intent or its ruling or whatever. Because they've just worked that out. So really, Eren doesn't have any power that he doesn't. So what does it come down to here? It looks like Ymir has pledged her allegiance to Zeke. I guess because he was there first. They hung out. He kept her company. I don't know. Or he spent this whole time kind of like programming her to do so, using various meta commands and stuff. I don't know. At any rate, it seems like Eren is totally unnecessary and really can do nothing. Founder Ymir has a great deal of power, but its true form of hers is a slave, which possesses no will of its own. She sees those with royal blood as her masters and continues to obey them without question. I now possess the power of the original Titan. You did not escape your own chains, Eren. So, this is Zeke's conceptualization, that in the end he's disappointed with Eren because Eren is still just acting out his father's wishes. That for all of Eren's talk of freedom and some new path, it's really just the same, what Zeke sees as delusions of their father, is my guess. So these, of course, represented also with chains. The chains of his father. I'm glad I waited long enough to hear your true intentions. As I thought, you're truly brainwashed by our father. Not your fault, really. We were born to the worst father imaginable. You're nothing but his miserable victims. I, however, had another father who was there to save me. Mr. Xavier, who got him onto this antinatalist kick. You needed someone to save you, too. That's why I will never abandon you. I'll heal you with the power of the founder. Okay, so I guess Zeke's thinking here, and why he did this whole scheme. Because really, it doesn't seem like he needed to wait for Eren at all, if he was already kind of making new rules with Ymir. He already had the power of the original Titan. In all of this weird, timeless years or whatever, however he feels like has passed since they touched on the battlefield. But the reason why he allowed Eren to revive before he put his plan into action and to hear Eren out is because he still wants to save Eren. He wants to undo what he perceives as the brainwashing of his father. Okay, so this all makes sense. Stop it is pointless. Time's come for me to save the world together with you. Okay, so they touch heads together. I don't know if this is how it actually works to like implement a rule in the world of the original Titan. Because before it seemed like he was just doing that like without touching foreheads with Eren, right? Or I guess maybe there's a difference between these sorts of bossing around Ymir within this world and then actually making changes to the outside world. I don't know. Alright, so here we see baby Eren. Baby Eren crawling along the ground. Sure, sure. These are father's memories. Okay. They've gone back into his father's mind. He looks quite happy for someone who doomed all of his old comrades and his family to hell. This is like, oh, you know, the Dickens story with Scrooge. Why can't I think what this is called? A Christmas Carol. It's like a Christmas Carol. Except, imagine the Christmas Carol, and the ghosts just go back and just completely shit on Scrooge. You know, because he looks quite happy. That's like what the Ghost of Christmas Past says about young Scrooge. But then to go for someone that doomed his comrades and family to hell. I'm going to show you until you understand just how much Grisha Jaeger has brainwashed you, how he planted the seed of nationalism in you. So, that's kind of the line, I guess. This is Zeke's point of objection, is that he thinks Eren is motivated by love of Eldia, by his father's conviction that the people of Ymir are strong and true and deserve freedom and happiness and righteousness and agency and so on and so forth. Where, of course, Zeke is like, no, this is inherently impossible since we have the Curse of Titans. Let's just end it all. Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting. I have a lot to say about this usage of the term nationalism. And again, there's this huge conversation about Attack on Titan and real-world politics and what it seems to be suggesting about the real world through its various semi-allegorical systems. But I don't have time to get into that right now, especially since literally all I've seen is the word nationalism. I want to learn more about what the heck Zeke is actually getting at here. Show you as many times as I have to until you understand. Isn't that brainwashing too? Isn't that like a very fundamental tenet of how brainwashing works? Is that you just show them the same thing over and over again until they're willing to say 2 + 2 = 5 or something? Seems a little hypocritical to just admit straight up, I'm going to show you this until you say that you believe me. Good for you, Grisha. Who can blame you? You forgot about your first family and enjoyed true happiness. You managed to completely forget about the fact you already had a son before. Ah, so this is interesting to me as well. That Zeke isn't just a purely, like, robotic, rationalist agent out here to end the Eldian bloodline, but a lot of it, I think, is also just kind of psychological damage occurred by the fact that he knew his father went on, started the second family, that he was left with Dr. Xavier. He went through hell. His father had this happy family life here on Paradise Island, blah, blah, blah. It's hard to know how much that impacts it. It's hard to know where he would be had he not also these kind of psychic trauma. Okay. Eren's looking at this like, yeah, you got issues, bud. You know, big bro, you probably should go see a therapist about this. You don't need to end the bloodline of our people. Here we see baby Eren stepping around. And again, like, I don't see how any of this is brainwashing. This definitely seems more just like Zeke's issues. Look here, Eren. You can see his true nature. Okay, so this is where he's a doctor to the royal family. They even had guns back then. This is me referencing a stupid thing I said a while ago, where after the time skip, I said, ooh, they have guns now, because I forgot they had always had guns. That was very dumb of me. They had guns back then, too. Whatever. He used his title as doctor to get close to the powerful people inside the walls. He questioned the king and the walls to gain information that would help him steal the original Titan. If he gets caught, his wife and son will be done for as well. Even knowing that, he pushed on despite the danger. Do you know why? Because her piece of shit father is the type of shitty asshole that would throw his own wife and son in the gutter if it's for his shitty Eldian restoration. I've been disillusioned, I was wrong, I was not supposed to be born. The brainwashing faded a long time ago. So Eren says this, Zeke is like skeptical. He's like, yeah, I want you to say that eventually. Just not right now. I didn't really show you everything yet. I guess this is what's happening. But it also seems like Eren here is sincerely disavowing the Eldian restoration. And also probably disavowing his father. Like, I still think that Eren's plan has nothing to do with his father's intentions, right? Right? Like, he thinks Zeke is just barking up the wrong tree here, but is letting him do this whole Christmas Carol routine just to appease him, I guess. So we see more shots of the happy family. Zeke, of course, probably having gone through these a million times before. Here he is, frantically checking correspondence, the most illegal variety. Here's Kenny. Remember that guy? This is, of course, Found this place so quickly. Stronghold of the King of the Wall. Yeah, this is where the big cavernous bunker was. Oh, where they were titanizing people and doing all sorts of rituals and stuff. Just stole the original Titan the day the walls were destroyed. Memory takes place many years before that happened. He looks down in the thing, seals it away again. Okay. He comes back home, hugs Eren tightly. Kind of seems like Zeke wasn't ready for this, right? I kind of thought Zeke had already, like, looked at all of these memories and selected this little highlight reel. But it's more like they're actually just experiencing their father's memories with the same sort of chain of causality as he would recall each one in turn, I guess. And he was just so confident that this would reveal to Eren that the brainwashing and the propaganda and the inherent, I guess? See, it seems like he cared very much for his second son. So much that he put his mission to restore Eldian power on hold. Ah, so he had found all of the pieces. He had found Stronghold of the King of the Wall. But he didn't do anything about it until the day of the grim reminder. Completely different from how it was with me. He's learning from his past mistakes. Wow, what a shocker. Your actions are only a mirror of your father's own wishes. You're not acting as your true self. That, at least, I know for a fact. So this is, of course, the legendary basement, the focal point of so much of the original mysteries of the series. This is the photo that Eren eventually finds there. Zeke, I'm sorry. Whoa, okay. Okay. Wow, wow, okay. And look at Eren's, like, yeah, I knew it. Do you think that's what he's thinking? I don't know. He's just standing there, arms crossed. Like, I'm so bored. When do we get to go back to the Evangelion place? I want to start rewriting me some rules of history. So, they both hear it. Let's see. Whoa, what? Okay. So even though this is just memory viewing, they're just Christmas caroling it. Grisha can sense Zeke. And presumably, back when this memory was made, he did the same thing. So this going back and looking at memories thing that they're doing through some original Titan power, I guess, can actually influence the past, and in fact has influenced the past. So now we're getting back into these time loop theories, which again has like two major points of evidence. Eren's prophetic dream, way back at the start, and the time that Owl, that was his name, the double agent in the Marleyan army, was like, make sure to protect Armin and Mikasa. Who the heck are Armin and Mikasa? I don't know. I just kind of felt like saying that. But then, this mechanism for altering the past has nothing to do with those two incidents. At least I would think. What the hell? There's no way an old bearded man like that could be Zeke. It's just a dream. So it's not just that he senses their presence or something in an abstract way. He actually, for a minute, dreamt that he saw these memory observers as they physically are, as they stand and live and breathe in this room. Oh boy. Whoa, okay. What is this? Aaron's just like, yeah, all right, whatever. I'm getting confused. Let's just keep going. Whoa, okay, all right. Now, it wouldn't surprise me, because this happened many times before, and someone right down there is going to leave a comment telling me how this all makes perfect sense, and how all of this had actually been foreshadowed before. I welcome you to, please. But I'll admit right now, I am confused as hell. I am so shocked with this sort of development that I am shook to my core. I have no idea what this means. I have no idea what this says for the metaphysics of this series. And I'll admit as well, I have only the vaguest idea of what Aaron is scheming this entire time. Every time I think I'm getting a step closer, every time he says something that I perceive as sincere, the circumstances just change so wildly that I have no idea what he's thinking now. Let's move on to the next memory, Zeke. Next. Like, what? He seems bored. Like, did he somehow plan all of this as well? Like, did he see all of this coming? Had he already somehow toured through his father's memories? Like, what? Like, what's going on? I have no idea what's going on. The series is crazy. As I said before, there's been a lot of discussion lately around what moral message, if anything, is Attack on Titan saying, or not so much a moral message. I think the morality of Attack on Titan is often quite clear. But the political message has become so muddled and so gray area on all sides. And I feel like every take I've read, every breakdown or whatever, is just ignoring huge parts of the plot and simplifying it in order to make the argument that it's making. And I also know that in my own experience, I myself, if I tried to summarize kind of the political points of the plot and what arguments they seem to be making, would be forgetting or oversimplifying or reducing big chunks of the plot as well. It's simply too big and too complicated and too morally ambiguous to say that it suggests any kind of single coherent ideology. And moreover, it's just too weird at this point. Like, what can you really say that Attack on Titan is saying about something like nationalism, something about a country's right to defend itself? I've seen people say that it's pro kind of imperial Japan. It's saying that Japan should be able to have something beyond the defense force, that Japan should be able to wage war if it wants to proactively. I've seen people that argue the exact opposite, that it says, yes, you can see Paradise Island as an analogy for that, but it's condemning that ideology. It's condemning the idea of using the world flattening weapon or whatever. Okay? I've been seeing people say that the world flattening weapon is an allegory for the nuclear bomb. I've been saying things that Titans are the allegory for the nuclear bomb, and that it's Marley is an allegory for the States, and their use of Titans to terrorize Paradise Island is that allegory, and that the world flattening weapon is Japan defending itself against such things. I don't like, all of these takes are kind of interesting, and they all draw from evidence in the series, of course. But it's just so much, like, how can you say that any of those are the message of the series when the series also contains crazy world-bending evangelion spaces where the rules of reality are being written through sacred contact between the inheritor of the original Titan and the inheritor of royal blood, and people are waltzing through memories that are changing the past, and like, I don't know. And then once I've made all these claims, it's like, how then do you analyze the series? It's just too much. I'm going crazy, but I love it. I think when a series like this is ending, when a series that we've been with for many years and 120 chapters and has become this huge cultural phenomenon is finally coming to an end, I think it's only right that we start losing our minds. I think it's only right that it goes in directions that still shock us in the way that it's been shocking us all this time. I don't know. What do you think? Can you make it till the next issue? How many chapters are even left? I don't know. I don't think we're long until the end. Whew. Sheesh. Crazy, crazy.